A review of the Apple iPad Air. This is a 128 gigabyte version in silver color. I write a lot of reviews for Amazon. I do a lot of work using videos and photographs, and as a result I'm constantly deleting files, videos, and photographs from my existing iPads in order to keep working all day long. This is the reason why I've gone to the new, more powerful microprocessor and the larger memory size of 128 gig. Out of the box, you'll find the iPad, and it's sealed in plastic, as you can imagine, to protect it from shipment. In addition, underneath of that, you'll find the brief instruction manual, and I say brief because you know Apple. And then here's the new lightning cable for use with this device, and also the AC wall charger. You can see the new power adapter, and I say new because it is 12 watts. Its output is 5.2 volts DC at 2.4 amps. Its input operates on 100 to 240 volts AC and 50 to 60 hertz. See, the power supply is also UL approved. Like a lot of Apple adapters, it does have pop-up AC plug-ins, so it's a good travel adapter because it's easy to package. The lightning cable is 41¼ inches long, and the instructions are this one page, both sides, and basically one sentence, which basically says, turn on the iPad and follow the instructions. And you'll find two white Apple decals that you can apply any place you like. First things you'll notice is that the touch button that you'd have on an iPhone 5S isn't there. Here you can see the silver ring around my home button here. That's what allows you to help memorize your fingerprint. It's missing on the new iPad Air, and that's one of the things I was hoping to get. It may sound kind of silly, but even though I've had this phone only for a few weeks, I've become quite used to using that feature. Here you can see I have the iPad Air lying next to an iPad 2. I'm actually filming this with an iPad 3. Some of the biggest differences I see is, number one, if you look at the bottom here, you can see that originally the speaker system was off to one side. You can see it here on the back. Here on the new one, you actually have two speakers with stereo output. Right here on the iPad 2, you see the slide switch, but also the rocker switch for the up and down volume, whereas here you see two separate switches for the volume controls. The camera looks pretty much similar, and it's in a very similar location, and you have the main power off-on button at the top. At the bottom here, you can see the power input, which was the original Apple 30-pin connector, and here you see the much smaller lightning connector. On the top up here, you see the headphone jack. It's pretty much located in the same location. In the new iPad Air, it's a bit closer to the side. What you will notice is that on this iPad 2, the rounded edges on all four sides coming to the back, this is much shallower here, and the iPad is much thinner. I'm not going to use my verniers because I'm not going to scratch an iPad. It's not that important because you can get the dimensions off the web. But here you can see that the iPad Air is much thinner. But one of the most amazing things is look how much narrower it is. The telling dimension is the width. You can see a dramatic difference. The primary difference is the width of the border outside the really usable screen area. The actual usable screen is exactly the same at 7 3/4 high by 5 3/4 wide. Basically, both screen sizes are the same, but the difference is the number of pixels per inch is much greater in the new one. Here you can see a comparison between the iPad 2, the iPad 3, and the iPad Air. Here's another difference that stands out. This is the iPad 2. It weighs in at 1 pound, 5 1/8 ounces. This is the iPad 3. It weighs in at 1 pound, 7 1/8 ounces. And the main difference is the battery size. And then here we have the iPad Air, and it weighs in at 1 pound, 1/4 ounce. We're now going to take a quick look at the startup. I'm going to press the top button and hold it for a few seconds. And it says that it's at 88% power. I'm going to swipe it across. And the first thing it asks me is to take a look at the language, which is English. I'm going to pick United States. and it says choose a network, and it gives me some opportunities. You can see I've selected a network and entered the password. I'm now going to touch join. And it's asking me to enable location services, which I accept. And it's going to ask me to set up as a new iPad, restore from iCloud backup, or restore from iTunes backup. I'm going to set this up as a new iPad. And it tells me to sign in with my Apple ID and or create a new Apple ID. In my Apple ID and my password, it asks me to review the pages and pages and pages of the terms and conditions from Apple. Now telling me it's going to take a few minutes to set up my Apple ID. It's now telling me to use the iCloud. I get to choose whether I want to use it or don't use it. It's now asking if I want to use Find My iPad, which to me is an absolute must. At this point, the iPad will show you the selections to verify where you can be reached using iMessage and FaceTime. Please make sure they're correct. It's asking me to enter a passcode. It's asking me now to set up iCloud keychain. It's asking me if I want to use Siri. It's asking if I want to send my diagnostics data to Apple. And here we go. It says, welcome to iPad, get started. See the basic icons that have come up, which are FaceTime, calendar, photos, camera, contacts, clock, maps, videos, notes, reminders, photo booth, game center, newsstand, iTunes store, app store, settings, and down here you got messages, mail, Safari, and music. After using my iPad for over a week, I wanted to point out some of the things I noticed. It is much lighter in weight. It's thinner, smaller design with the same screen size, but it's also much faster when syncing with iTunes, browsing the web, and downloading emails. I also was able to get stronger Wi-Fi connections and faster Wi-Fi syncing with new connections. Even though the iPad has a new A7 more powerful chip and a new motion processor, it has a much lower power consumption that makes a smaller and lighter battery last much longer. This is extremely noticeable. As usual, there's a beautiful high-resolution Retina screen with 248 by 1536 resolution at 264 pixels per inch. You can see the difference in photos, videos, and reading quality of the screen. It really stands out. In addition, you'll notice right away the dual speakers from the bottom of the unit. In addition, there are free high-quality apps you can download from Apple.com for free. I particularly like iPhoto, iMovie, GarageBand, Pages, and Keynote, which helps you do office applications and make excellent movies, which I use every day. Please remember to download these from Apple. They're free and they're well worth the time. I've used this, like I said, for over a week to test out some new things, and I'm really impressed with the performance. But I wanted to show you these new apps that are free. iPhoto, Numbers, Pages, Keynote, GarageBand. They're easy to download. They're fairly large files, but make sure you have a good Wi-Fi. Each of these apps is excellent, and you should take the time because they are free. It enhances your working experience and use of your iPad. In addition, the one called iMovie is outstanding for making family movies. I use this every day for my reviews on Amazon, and my wife and I use it for family videos. To tell you, I worried about buying a new iPad because we had two of them. I needed more memory, but I have to tell you that this product is excellent. Its performance and speed is a dramatic improvement over the iPad 2 and 3. I really enjoy that. In addition, you can see here it says 100% on the battery charge. I've already used this device for about 25-30 minutes and it's still fully charged. On my iPad 2 and 3 that would just never have happened. An excellent product, and I rated it 5 stars. It was done by JJ CEO.